Hello everyone, this is Josh Krieger reporting live from Newswatch 82. News just in from the Ukrainian border where we see Russian troops starting to leave the border, but many do still remain. This just in that Russia's foreign minister rendered calls for an immediate end to violence. According to Russian news agencies, occurring this morning at Donetsk airport, at least 30 rebels were killed in heavy fighting with the Ukrainian army. In Donetsk on Monday, and the Ukrainian military has taken back control of the Besigned airport. This is the most violence that has ever occurred in this area. Government forces used fighter jets and helicopters, gunships against the pro-Russian rebels who had taken over the city's international airport on Monday. There were 2 civilians that were killed in this crossfire at the battlegrounds. The revolution in Ukraine originally started to take place in November of 2013, but after a series of violent events in the capital of Kiev, in February 2014, culminated with the ousting of the then president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych. This was immediately followed by a series of changes in quick succession in Ukraine's socio-political system, including the installation of new interim government, the restoration of an older version of the constitution, and the call to hold impromptu presidential elections within the months. The revolution was followed by protests in its southeastern regions, a dispute with Russia regarding the annexation of Crimea and Sevastopol by the Russian Federation, and the amassing of Russian troops near Ukraine's borders. According to polling data by GfK taken from the 4th to 18th of March in all regions of Ukraine, including Crimea, 48% of Ukrainians support the change in power, while 34% oppose. In the eastern and southern regions of the revolution, it is supported by 20% of the population, whereas 57% or more of the population in the rest of the country supports the change in government. Also, only 2% of those polled said they fully or partially trusted former President Viktor Yanukovych. This being said, there was very light support amongst the Ukrainians for their former President Viktor Yanukovych. The country of 45 million people has struggled with its individuality since it acquired independence with the disbanding of the Soviet Union in 1991. Ukraine has failed to determine its interior divisions and manufactured a strong political institutions, hampering its ability to execute economic reforms, overcome corruption, and lessen the sway of powerful oligarchs. In the decade following independence, successive presidents allowed oligarchs to gain increasing power over the economy, while repression against political opponents intensified. By 2010, Ukraine's 50 richest people control nearly half the country's gross domestic product, their GDP. A reformist wave temporarily crested in 2004 when the Orange Revolution, set off by rigged presidential elections, brought Viktor Yanukovych to the presidency. Yet bickering amongst elites hindered reforms and stern economic difficulties resurged with the global economic crisis of 2008. The revolution also converted the part linking European-oriented western and central Ukraine and Russian-oriented southern and eastern Ukraine. Campaigning on a platform of closer ties with Russia, Yanukovych won the 2010 presidential election. By many accounts, he then reverted to the pattern of corruption and cronyism. His family may have embezzled as much as $8 million to $10 million a year over a 3-year period. He also turned against his opponent in 2010 presidential election, Yulia Tymoshenko, one of the prestigious reformist leaders of the Orange Revolution, disciplining her on charges of the abuse of power. Yanukovych controlled talks with the EU on a trade association agreement. which he signaled he would sign in late 2013. But under pressure from Russia, he dropped those plans, citing concerns about damage to Ukraine's industry by European competition. The decision provoked demonstrations in Kiev on what became known as Euromaidan by protesters looking to part with their future with Europe's and speaking out against corruption. The government's crackdown after 3 months of protest, in some cases spurring by radicalized demonstrators, caused the bloodiest clash of the country's post-Soviet period. With scores killed, Yanukovych followed ousting new divisions among the eastern and western halves of the country. Though a new group of transitional leaders promised to form a national unity government and hold elections on May 25, 2014, but the situation worsened in eastern and southern Ukraine in the months prior to elections. Pro-Russian separatists clashed increasingly with government forces and citizens loyal to the central government. Meanwhile, separatists have seized government buildings in at least 10 towns in eastern Ukraine. By early May 2014, the violence spread to Odessa, the Black Sea city, experienced the most bloodshed since the latest round of communal clashes began when more than 30 people, most of them being pro-Russian separatists, were killed in a May 2nd fire. Russian officials have repeatedly cited concerns about terrorization to Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine, and there are fears Russia could decide to assert control in the event of a contest for power there. Moscow has moved about 40,000 troops in the region bordering eastern Ukraine, while Ukraine has deployed about 11,000 troops in the area on its side of the border. U.S. officials have repeatedly showed their aspiration to see Ukraine become a steady democracy, with solid economic and political relations in the European Union. With the conflict growing bigger and worse each and every day, more and more countries will start to get involved, and this conflict will start to spread throughout Europe. If this were to be the case, there could possibly be an outbreak leading to World War III. If this were to happen, there are rumors speculating around. This is Josh Krieger. See you next time. Thank you, Josh. Let's send it over to Josh for the interview. Hello, everyone. I'm Josh Krieger, reporting live from my bedroom. I'm here with Clay Basilega, Abington Knights basketball superstar, and we're here to ask him some questions about Ukraine. Clay, do you know about what's going on in Ukraine?
Yeah, I know a little bit from news. That's about it, though.
Well, what do you know?
Well, I know that Russia is kind of taking control of Ukraine unfairly and intruding on them a little bit.
And how do you feel about that?
Honestly, I don't really know how to feel. I'm not completely educated on the issue yet, so I think that maybe the U.S. should be doing a little more than they are, because right now we're just kind of like sitting back, and I don't know if we're doing enough or...
Okay. Well, what type of help would you like to U.S. to propose?
Honestly...
Like military?
Yeah, I think we should. I think that we should get in as soon as possible and end it before it gets bad, because honestly, it can just keep growing and escalating, and it might only get worse.
What do you know about the rumors of World War III?
I don't know about that, Josh. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you, Clay. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you to our viewers for watching. That is all for tonight. Remember, Newswatch 82 F5. Over and out.